Hello again. Here we are again. Today I went to the local game store, played a little bit, and I got my hands on a promo pack. So let's see what we get from our promo pack code before we start our next game. Let's see what we open up here. Okay. Another flash creatures, always nice to have. Okay, so let's look at our quest today. Today seems like we're gonna be playing blue and green spells are gonna give us gold. So let's see what deck we can play with green or blue. So I don't have any blue decks at the moment, so let's look at the green versions. And I think this one might be a good option for today. Playing a decent number, but that's an Explorer, so we can't play that one. Yeah, let's go to Journey 5. That was the one I was looking for. It's not playing a lot of green, so no, not enough to really go for the quest today. This one plays a lot more green, so yeah, I think it's going to be that one, or Journey 1 is going to be the best choice. And I think in this case Journey 1 is going to be best. That's the one with the most green. So let's play that one today. We're still on that journey to go to ranked. These are decks that we know perform pretty decent, so here we go. So we're going to try and get to those 500 goals, add them to our pool of gold, but just waiting for an opponent here. If you can play events at local game stores that share those promo packs, they're always useful for getting some kind of extra booster in the game, especially if it doesn't cost you anything, like in my case today. So looks like we have one green but no black. I do, however, have a Blanchwood, so I think I'm gonna take the risk and I'm gonna take it. I can put in the forest first turn with a Willowgeist, and then we can say hello to our opponent. That way he doesn't have to wait too long for us. And let's wish him a good game as well. So next turn is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm just going to let him through. Right now, that one life doesn't really matter much to me. What does matter is the Blanchwood Prowler. Let's hope for a land. Usually I should get one. There we go. That's the one. It does come into play tapped, but let's just keep our blockers open. Another Monastery Swiftspear. Let's put both creatures on one. Might not seem like a smart move, but he can only cast one spell with powers. There we go. That was too bad. I was hoping he wouldn't have it, but we still have a Soul Cauldron here. So next turn is gonna hurt pretty bad. But let's see if we can't do something about that, shall we? So win or lose, I'm just gonna show you how I play so you can follow the journey from beginning to end. And then we can see how everything goes. Because I think it's important for everyone to understand that no matter how good you are, or no matter how good your deck is, you are going to lose some games along the way. And I don't want people to think that, hey, we're always doing great and always doing wonderful. Well, let's be honest, I'm still just gold level, so it's not that that impressive. Yep, let's just give him that. So this, like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a painful situation, but not much we can do about that. I'm going to go into my turn. Right now, I can go for a blocker, but he's going to hurt me pretty bad. So I think, in this case, it might be interesting to bring back the Willowgeist, and then with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, I can also get rid of the Blanchwood Prowler. And now we have a 3/3, which will gain us a little bit of life, but it looks like it might just be over already. That's the disadvantage of this deck against a deck like that. If I can't get wide fast enough, then I usually lose the game here. So let's see what happens. So this one has Trample. He's gonna boost something. So let's block this one. I could have gone for Monastery Spear, but he still has 2 mana open. He still has cards in his hand. So I'm gonna lose Willowgeist anyway. There we go. And that's game. So that was a really fast game. Not really impressive either. So maybe we should just go for another deck anyway. I could go for this one, which also plays a decent amount of green. But again, if we come up against the same type of deck, it could be problematic, but let's try it anyway. So I'm curious to see what type of deck we're matched against now, because I've found that quite often if I get matched against the same type of decks several times in a row, then very often switching to a different strategy gives me a few wins along the way. So here, it's not a great start, but I do have the colors and I can play a lot of the cards in my hand already. So let's see what happens. There we go. He plays tap land. We've got... So there's a good chance him playing black that he's just gonna destroy this one, but that's okay. Because we are playing a lot of enchantments, so there will be opportunities for him to come back. He didn't. That changes things a little bit. Let's see what we get here. We have an Evolving Wilds. Right now it looks like I need especially the white, so let's go for plains here. And then let's see what he does. So, just gonna take the plains. And then I'm gonna go for the aggressive approach right now. I could have gone a little bit harder, but next turn I'm thinking Jukai, and then the second Michiko, and that will hit very hard. So let's see if he removes Kami now or not. I'm pretty curious what he's about to do. He does have the colors for it, so we're gonna pump this one, play another land. You know what? Let's do this instead. This card prevents him from playing anything in our turn, which is interesting. And we automatically get to draw a card. So even though it slowed us down a little bit, I'm still worried about the colors. I'm seeing black, I'm seeing blue. That means there are some options here. The fact that he didn't counter it means he didn't have a counter because it came in too fast. But the fact he doesn't have black available, oh, there we go. So there we see it. Having a card that prevents your opponent from playing anything in your turn is really useful, especially if you can combine that with card draw. So that that little cat we played was really interesting to have, and just to play safe. I would have loved to see his hand when he quit and see if he really did have a removal or not. But when you're seeing black, there's a very big chance that there's removal in there. Blue has some return to your hand effects as well, so keeping that in mind is a good idea. Here my opponent goes first. So we are a little bit at a disadvantage with our land, but I'm going to keep it anyway. I have access to my two colors, first one being white. And then next turn I can put in a forest and I can play most of the things that I have in my hand. As soon as you draw a third land, we can bring our cat back out. And I really do like this cat. A 3/3 body for 3 with the ability to really push something through. He's playing white and green, same like us. So not really sure what he's gonna do. Okay. So if we're lucky enough to draw a card next turn, that would be really interesting, because we would have a lot of options from that point on. So let's see what happens. We do have a removal. I don't want to use it for his token if I have a different choice, so let's see. Let's see what he's doing. So we're seeing he has a brushland here, overgrown farmland here. Not gonna, I'm not gonna block right now. I have a better idea for that. So yeah, I'm gonna go for card draw first. Let's see if we get something interesting. Evolving Wilds is not the perfect opportunity, but we can use it anyway. So we're seeing a lot of white and green right now. It's a bit 50-50, a little bit more green than white. I'm gonna go for second green. Let's put in this one, and let's see if he blocks us. If he does, we get another card draw. I don't really mind if he blocks, because we do have second one in our hand, so next turn we can just do something similar. Yeah, that's the block. So we do get 4 life here, we do get a card draw, and we get rid of his token, so that's not too bad. So he brought back Jukai here with Calyx on top. Yeah, well done. Now we do get a land here as well. Let's go for this instead. And let's put this one down as well. He's open, so we might as well just attack him. And let's see what we can do. Yeah, so it seems like we're playing pretty much the same strategy here, just a little bit different approach. He's playing some more solutions than I am, which is it's fair enough. It's understandable. Just gonna take out that one, which is a good choice because it brings his is Calyx back. Calyx is a really good card in this format, and it opens up a lot of doors. There we go. So right now, I think this one would be an interesting move. This one, and then this one. Let's just get the field populated a little bit. No attacks. So he's definitely had the card advantage here during the game. His saga, his seal, and now this card is really gonna hurt us. And he's pretty much taken over the game from this at this point. There isn't much we can do about that. I am going to sacrifice a creature here. And there's a possibility he might have some kind of boost in his hand, but yeah, I was expecting that. But with his virtue on the field, this is going to be a really tough game from this point on. And it's pretty much game, actually. His creatures are now basically equipped with vigilance. Even though they tap during the attack, they'll just untap and they'll get extra counters, so that's gonna hurt quite a lot. Yeah, it's game now. At this point, I could just give him the win and say I concede, or I can just let him play it out. Um, as you can see here, he's completely overpowering us now. So there's another seal, so that's game. Giving him access to Jukai would definitely be considered a bad move, maybe. But on the other hand, I'm not gonna block him here. I'm just gonna give him the win. I don't like to concede just like that. I think you should still play for it. Just in this case, there isn't much to play for. Let's be honest. I know my deck well enough to know that right now I don't have any cards in the deck that can solve this issue right now. I'm just gonna give it to him. Just gonna say good game and that's it. I'm not gonna block here. So the virtue of loyalty really gave him a power boost here. The two seals plus the other removal. Well, that's just a lot more removal than we were playing. And that's okay with me, you know. It's part of the game. But we do want to rank up, so let's go a little bit more removal. We did see now 2 games in a row where my opponent was playing a pretty creature-heavy aggro-based deck. So I think it's safe to go for a more anti-aggro type deck, which is the one of the two I'm playing now. I have 2 decks that are pretty good against aggro, and both of them are the same color. Just have deployed 2 different strategies. This one is my landfall version. We played it before. Basically, it's about gaining life until I can put the heavy hitters out on the field. He goes first, which could be a disadvantage again, but I do have a lot of lands I can use to look up other lands. The first one I want is definitely a swamp, because next turn I can go for a mountain, and then I have a Sheoldred available. There we go. And then we just go to next, end the turn. So we're seeing mono green. I actually like seeing that. Because that means we might have, oh, there's a swamp that I don't like. But I do see this one as a good card. So these both give me mountains and swamps. I don't need mountains and swamp right now. I need a forest, so we're going to definitely go for a forest now. And then we're just going to pass turn. I'm a little curious to see what he's going to show up with here. I'm seeing a lot of mana appearing. He's already had the acceleration from his side. We've already got a token. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do now. Okay. Not much I can do about that right now. Yeah, okay. So next turn he has a tutor for a creature, which he's going to put down on the field. Yeah, that one I don't like. So yeah, I'm going to have to do this right now. I don't want him to be able to tutor for a creature of his choice, so I think this is a better option. So right now we just have land and Sheoldred in. Sheoldred Descending Graveyard. Next turn I can play a Maestro's Theater. So even a 3/3 creature, even though it hits for 3, I'm not that worried about it. We're still in a pretty decent place life-wise, so yeah, we're just gonna take it. I'm kinda hoping to get a forest next turn. That hurts a little bit worse, but okay, we can live with that. Ah, there we go. So we didn't get a forest, but I did get something else I can use. So we can choose mountains or swamps. We already have 2 swamps, so let's go for a second mountain. Let's go over this one. Yeah, and then we go for the long goodbye, getting rid of his heavy hitter. He gets to draw a card, I can live with that. But next turn we get access to a lot of land. So the Maestro's Theater is going to go in next turn. That puts our land count on the field at 6. Combine that with our graveyard, that's another 4. That puts us to 10 land. I have the T-Var I can use as well. Just start digging a little bit. And the Vampire's Vengeance is just useful to have. If he comes up with more, there we go. That's okay, we can live with that. We actually don't really mind. That's fine. Go ahead, my friend. So it looks like his more powerful cards aren't on the field right now. So that changes things a little bit. We have a mountain in hand, so we're going to go for the swamp. And then I'm going to use Tifa here to bring back the aftermath that's already in the graveyard, forcing him to maybe play another removal. There we go. So we have it back on the field. I'm going to mill a little bit extra, but that's what this deck does. Yep. So that gives us a 1/3 blocker we can use to protect Tivar. And if he doesn't deal with it, we get to bring back a lot of land, and I have Vampire's Vengeance as well, so I can get rid of that token if I want. But it does look like he has the same problem we do, being not having all the powerful cards on hand right now. I'm not going to block. I don't mind if he gets my Planeswalker, because the next turn all I could have done with it was untap something I didn't really want to. There we go. So, one land here. We're just going to activate this one, because I really want to get those lands out now. Because what we're doing is we're thinning out our deck, so the chances of drawing lands along the way diminishes, but the chance of drawing something else increases, which is always useful. We are talking about a total of 5 lands here that we're going to take out of the deck, which is really, really nice. Let's just take this one because we know the other two are going to be mountains. So here we go. So we've now successfully thinned out a lot of our deck. We still have 28 cards, but we're going to end the turn here. I didn't have enough green, which usually I have a lot more, but in this case I didn't. But we're still at 20 life after, well, quite a lot of turns already, so we're not in a bad spot. I can live with that. So he's going to attack now. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he's going to pump his creature to do a little more damage. That's okay. Because we're now in a pretty good spot, actually. So this one again provides him with reach. If he goes into the graveyard, he gets to draw a card. So that's a little bit annoying, but we do have an advantage here. We can scry, see what we get. These are both cards that we can't really use. I'm gonna put this one down. Yep, okay. And then we're just gonna get rid of this one. Let's just get rid of the token then. You just get to draw a card, but I'm fine with that. Let's pump him up a little bit. And then we're just gonna end the turn. Just gonna resolve it. So the advantage we have right now is with Aftermath Analyst, we do get to bring the lands back, so we do get a lot of life gain again. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit a longer game. But let's see what he comes up with. He does still have... I'm just going to go to blockers. I'm just going to take this one. I can't take him out, which isn't really important right now, considering he does have trample. It's okay, because at the end of this turn, we're just going to activate Aftermath Analyst like this. And we're right back where we started. So we're going to get the last few lands in the deck. We're going to get our lives back up. And as you can see, we have a lot of powerful creatures in here as well. We still have our removal. We still have the Carnosaurs. We still have a lot of cards in here available. So let's see if we can't get our hands on one of them. And there we go. That's one of them. Let's see what we get our hands on. Yeah, let's put that one in. Let's pump our Carnosaur a little bit. And then let's just finish it here. So we're at 14 cards. Going to be a little more difficult to deal with. But we do have some life gain coming again, so let's see what happens. Still has 3 foods. He can turn his creatures into a little bit more powerful creatures, like a 4/4 and a 6/6. He might have some kind of boost in his hand. We've seen quite a lot of them already. So the chances are he has few of them. There's a good chance he has more than one. But with a toughness of 7, he needs a pretty decent boost, which we've seen. So we've seen here +4/+4, +3/+2, destroy target artifact, champion creature flying. Yeah, okay. There's a nice concept we're seeing here. So creating food tokens. It's a really nice concept he is going here. So let's see what he does. We still have a decent amount of removal in our deck. We noticed that before. So let's see what he does. Yeah, there's not much we can do about that. My turn. There we go. So let's just have him sacrifice a non-token. And then resolve. Let's see what we've got. So he's got 3, 8, 11. So if I attack with my Carnosaur, we're gonna lose it. So we're just gonna end the turn here. I do enjoy those longer games where you have to really think about your options, your strategies, and what you want to do. So a long game like this one, where you're in a tight spot, but you still have the potential to turn it around. Right now, it can be anyone's game. It's my turn. There we go. So the only thing we have right now is the Aftermath Analyst, which could be interesting, but no. I'm just going to untap a creature here. We only have 12 cards left in our deck. We know most of them aren't land, so we don't want to do that. Because if I had activated Tivar, I would have lost 6 cards. Losing 6 cards at this phase in the game is very risky. Because one of the cards in there, and that's really one of the ones I want, is my second Virtue. And cutting 6 out of 12 cards, that's a 50-50 chance I'm going to lose it. I'd rather have a chance of still drawing it than losing it. We still have the strongest creature on the field, and we do have some life gain. Yes, his life is higher than ours, but that's okay. Let's see what he does here. I don't know if he's gonna attack. If he does, we can just block. I would have actually attacked with this one if I were him. At this point in the game, he doesn't really have anything to lose. That's not the card we wanted. It's one of the few cards still in our deck, but it does allow us to look at what cards we have left and see if there's a way out of it. If I remember correctly, we do have some options. There's the Virtue. We do have a Brotherhood. So we have 4 land. We have 4 removals, 2 more Carnosaurs, and a Virtue of Persistence. So we're not in a bad spot, to be honest. He does have the advantage on the field, but that's fair. That's fine with me. Right now, I'm using Tivar as an opportunity for him to attack. There we go. Now that's what we wanted. So this changes things a little bit. This is one of the removals I was actually hoping for. I can't get rid of the food tokens, which, well, I can, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Because I have a feeling he's just going to get them back. I would rather, right now, deal with all the creatures on the field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal 3 damage to each creature. My Carnosaur is going to survive. This Hollow Scavenger might survive as well. There we go. But the other 3 creatures are going to go. And that makes it 2 against 1 again, so that evens the odds in creatures on the field. My T-VAR is going to survive thanks to the fact that I kept on increasing his loyalty counters, so I'm happy with that as well. Yes, we're going to lose some life. I was prepared for that as well, which is why we activated the Analyst. It's probably the last time we can activate her, but I don't really mind anyway. And then let's see, we're just gonna untap Carnosaur and that's it. I could attack now, but then he's gonna have 1 creature, I'm gonna have none, so I'm not gonna do that. So we're still in a position where he can't attack me without losing his creatures. We're getting one of those lands again. Oh well, it's better than nothing, but I definitely don't want my lands. We noticed before we still had a lot of removal in there. That's actually what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping to get. I really want that. Considering that we still have 2 Carnosaurs in there and they will hit any one of my removals. And considering the fact that we still have 1 minor board rate removal, we still have the vampires here, which would give me some removal of 2 of his smaller creatures, but he still has a food token. We have the Virtue here, but we do have those 2 Carnosaurs, so that's what I'm really going for. I'm just gonna untap Carnosaur again. So this is a really long game. We're really not hitting the cards that we need. But let's see what happens. So games like these they happen on Arena, even in ranked play. So these are not the most exciting games, but they do happen. Like we've been playing this game for what, 20 minutes now? So that's a pretty serious game. We know he can boost Scavenger, and like I said, I was just keeping T-VAR as a potential target for him to attack. That's the only reason we kept him in. He's gonna boost it. I was expecting that. That's a 5/4. He probably had something else in his hand to boost it even more if I had blocked with a Carnosaur. So now we've just basically wasted an attack on. So let's get rid of this one. There we go. Now I could attack and then we're pretty much back at where we started. And I actually think I'm going to do it this time. Because the chances of us really hitting another land is very, very low. And we know we still have a lot of interesting targets there. So yeah, that's what we definitely want. He might have some kind of boost in his... Yeah, there we go. So that was a boost as expected, just a little bit higher than I expected it, but that's okay. Because here we go, that's 1 removal. So I took a risk, and it could be end of the game now, depending on what he draws. Because honestly, I don't have a lot of resources anymore to deal with him. We have one Carnosaur and that's it. And the Virtue. And if we're really unlucky, the Virtue is going to be on the bottom. So let's see what happens. This is our last game for the night before we shut it down, and then we'll see what happens. There's much I can do there. Yeah. So he's got a really good mill here. Yeah, he's got us. So that was one of the few lands left. So we've drawn an insane amount of land in this game. Even filtering them out, they still kept coming. So good game to him because, as you can see, it's game now. So I'm just gonna let him win this. He can sacrifice a food, then it's 9, and he wins the game. That's it. So it's game to him. All he has to do now is sacrifice his food token, boost his Greta, and then attack with both of them, and it's game over. So I don't really know why he's taking so long. It's not that I have any cards in hand that I can surprise him with. There's nothing in the graveyard. So I'm not really understanding why he's taking so long. Just play your card and find. You know? So all he has to do here is Greta, sacrifice his food, put a 1/1 counter. He has a food here, so that makes it a 4/4 plus a 5/5. That's 9. That's game. So I really don't know what he's thinking about here, why he's hesitant. There we go. Why is he drawing a card? I really don't get this. This makes no sense. He could have just finished the game, which he didn't, which I don't really understand why. Because it actually gives us a chance to come back into the game, which wasn't really smart. Oh, yeah, that was stupid. Okay. On the other hand, I get a blood token, that's fine. Okay, now I'm completely confused. He could have finished the game right there and then. So, no attack. Now I'm really confused what he's doing here. It was game over. He could have taken me out. He didn't do it. I really don't understand why he didn't. Now he's creating a food token, yeah. So we only have one card left in our graveyard that's useful. That's or in our deck that's useful. That's the Virtue. I'm really hoping to get it next turn because then we could potentially still take him out. There we go. So let's play this one first. putting this one in. Let's attack with 1. No, I'm not going to attack. No, I'm not going to attack. No attacks. I'm going to risk it all on 2 hits. Because in my graveyard, we actually have this one. I'm going to fight. It's Bristle Farmer. We have 1 card left. We know what it is. It's a land. Decline. We're going to attack with everything. Because the interesting part of it is now we're actually still in the game. We are still in the game. With 1 more Kokla in the graveyard, I can actually bring it back, destroy one of his creatures on the field, and then attack with everything. And okay, the Kokla coming into play doesn't have trample or anything, but still. We actually do have a chance here. I didn't expect that at that point in the game. So it was a really surprising move that he didn't take me out. I really don't know why he did. So a really surprising win here. I don't know what he's doing right now. Maybe he's just angry at not winning the game because he did dominate at some point. But he fell for the bait by attacking my Planeswalker. That's a bait. He definitely fell for that one. He is not happy. Seems like he doesn't have a solution here, so I told him good game a few turns ago, and I actually expected him just to attack. I had nothing. I had no creatures. I had nothing in the graveyard to help me out. He could have just sacrificed his food token, boosted red up, dealt 9, and would have been done. And now it looks like he might be losing the game. And honestly, it's his own fault. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't have done it. Except for the fact that he might not have seen it himself. So as you can see, everyone makes mistakes. I made one. It cost me my Carnosaur, but it looks like he made an even bigger one that might just have cost him the game. So he really isn't happy. He's just letting the time run out. So that's fine with me. So long game, last card, game over. I think that's so hanging in there to the very end really does pay off sometimes. In this case, it looks like we just won the game just because he made a mistake and we just said we're not going to give up. There we go. So that's it for today. Very surprising win. One I really didn't expect to get. I was actually congratulating my opponent for his win, and then he made probably the biggest mistake in the game, and it gave us the win for tonight. So enjoy your night, have a great time, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.